up, everybody, and welcome. My name is Dalia, your empowerment coach, here to arm you with the knowledge and tools to live a more empowered life and to begin creating your reality. Now, everything that we've talked about up until this point, from automatic negative thoughts to cognitive restructuring, have their roots in a practice called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Now, the foundations of CBT is this: your thoughts create your feelings create your behavior influences your outcome. So thoughts create feelings, which create behavior, which create your outcome. In CBT, we learn that it's not the event itself or the thing that happens that directly determines how we feel or respond to it. It is our interpretation and thoughts about said event that influences how we feel, how we behave, which ultimately influences the outcome. Hello, sounding familiar? How reality or perceived reality is formed? So understanding this process can really empower you to make positive changes in your life. Now let's break it down so we can illustrate how all of this comes together. Now, let's say a thought pops up in your head. Maybe it's a positive thought, like, I really aced that presentation. Or it can be a negative thought of, that really sucked. I am so not up to this task. I am not good enough for this. Now, depending on whether your thought is positive or negative, your emotions are going to follow suit. Positive thoughts are going to trigger positive emotions like joy and confidence. Negative thoughts are going to set off a cascade of not so fun emotions like sadness, anger, and anxiety. So back to the initial example of, if I have the thought of, wow, I really aced that presentation, I am going to feel really good about myself. If I have the thought of, that really sucked, I'm still not good enough, that's going to make me feel pretty shit about myself. But here's where it gets even more interesting. So your emotions then drive your behavior. Think about it. The way you feel in a certain situation really influences how you react. Feeling confident, you might take on more challenges. Feeling anxious, you might avoid challenges altogether. So back to the example of, wow, I really aced that presentation. I feel really good about myself. That's going to encourage me to take on more responsibility at work. However, if I am looking at the, oh my God, I am not good enough for this, that's going to make me feel pretty bad about myself. And then I'm going to withdraw and become very avoidant at work, not challenging myself to take on more tasks and responsibility. Now, here's the plot twist. Our behavior then shapes the outcome that we experience. So the way that we interpret and respond to our thoughts create a loop of cause and effect that shape our perceived reality. Now, the good news is that by reprogramming our thoughts through cognitive restructuring, which we spoke about in a previous video, we can start to orchestrate a more empowering emotional experience. Imagine catching a negative thought and transforming it into a more realistic one and witnessing the surge of positive emotions that arise because of that. And with these emotions as our allies, we're then inspired to take more bold and confident action. And when we do, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy that results in more positive outcomes. So as our behavior changes, the outcomes shift too. It's like a chain reaction that ripples positivity into every corner of your life. So if you're taking on more responsibility at work, your boss is going to acknowledge that, be like, girl, you deserve a promotion. However, if you are withdrawn at work and you're responding to your behavior of being avoidant, your boss might be having a very different kind of conversation with you. Now, all of this, like this process, really highlights how important it is to be mindful of our thoughts and our emotions. And I'm going to bring everything that we've learned so far together in a simple tool that I teach all my clients. This tool is called the thought record. The thought record is a cognitive behavioral therapy tool, and it helps you to identify and challenge negative thoughts or unhelpful patterns. And by using this tool, you're able to gain insight into your thought patterns, but also into your emotions. And this is going to empower you with a more balanced and constructive perspective. So let's look at the thought record in details. The thought record consists of 9 steps. I'm going to take you through each of these steps because I want you to actually do the work. So take out a pen and paper and start writing notes. The first step, step number 1, is to identify the situation or trigger. Knowing your triggers is really important. It could be anything from a work-related challenge to a personal interaction or a self-critical thought that just popped up. Identify the situation or the trigger that arose. Step number 2, recognize the automatic negative thought that happened either after or during the situation occurred. So paying attention to that immediate thought is important. And you know this by now, automatic thoughts are very quick, almost reflexive. So, and they shape how you feel and about the situation. So really understanding what thought has happened in that situation is important. Step number 3, note your emotions. Like actually record your emotions after you've experienced that thought or that situation, or even during. And be specific about how you felt, whether it was sadness, anxiety, anger, whatever the emotion is, just note it down so you can start seeing the pattern between, oh, this thought came up and this is how it made me feel. The 4th step is to rate the intensity of that emotion on a scale of from 0 to 100. So rate the intensity of that emotion. This is going to help you gauge how strongly the automatic thought affected your emotional state. A lot of times we go through life not understanding why we feel the way we do. This is going to help put things into perspective for you. Step number 5, challenge the thoughts. Now comes the critical part. Examine the automatic thought and question its accuracy. You can ask yourself questions like, is there evidence to support this thought? Are there alternative explanations for the situation? Would someone else view this situation differently? If so, how? What would be a different way for me to see the situation more positively or with more compassion? These are just some of the ways you can begin to question the validity of that thought. Step number 6, reframe with a balanced thought. So based on your challenge, come up with a more balanced and constructive thought. Like find a middle ground between the automatic thought and a more optimistic and realistic perspective. This new thought should be aligned with evidence, should be based in reality, and should be empowering. Step number 7, assess the emotion again. So now that we have a more constructive thought that we've replaced with the automatic thought, it becomes important to reevaluate the emotional intensity after the reframe. Has the intensity decreased? Have you noticed any changes in how you feel? And step number 8, practice and review. Make the thought record habit. Whenever you encounter challenging situations or experience strong emotions, note it down. And with practice, you're going to become more skilled at identifying and reframing negative thoughts. Step number 9, monitor progress over time. And I've included this step because this isn't an exercise that you're just going to do once or twice and then khalas, you let it go. No, this is something that you're going to do a lot of because this is going to help you to observe patterns in your thought processes and in your emotional reactions. And make sure that you celebrate your progress in challenging negative thoughts and in fostering healthier perspectives. Always taking note of how your thoughts are creating feelings. It's negative thought creating negative feelings. Notice how the more positive thought is also resulting in positive emotions, and really cultivate those positive emotions. And this practice is going to allow you to develop a more positive and balanced mindset. It's going to help you to take charge of your thoughts and emotions and promoting more emotional well-being and personal growth. Now, remember to be patient with yourself as you practice this technique. It takes time to develop the skill of challenging and reframing automatic thoughts, especially because they are automatic. But the reward is so well worth the effort. And I believe in you. I know you can do this. You are an empowered creator. Now, if you are someone who struggles with anxiety, I have a self-study course that I offer on my website called Managing Anxiety. It utilizes CBT approach as well as mindfulness as an intervention to help rewire your brain. It includes a workbook and plenty of exercises like the thought record and much, much more to help you manage anxiety, because as you will learn, anxiety is a response to cognitive distortions. Check it out and stay tuned for more videos. If you found this helpful, please do hit the like and subscribe button, and I will keep making these kind of videos that are going to empower you through yoga, meditation, and psychoeducation. Until next time, thank you and see you soon.